Am I hearing that my girl went a little crazy before SNL started?
Bitch, what did you do?
I'm hearing that she threw her phone and broke a monitor. What's up with that? All I'm saying is, let me see her hand. Let me see the injuries.
Listen up. It turns out we were actually spot on yesterday about that TMZ article's timing. The person at the center of it all finally fired back, and wow, her response is something else. Meanwhile, the Democrats are apparently dipping their hands into her tour ticket sales, and that's got everyone talking. We also need to get into Rah Ali's strange obsession with her ex-bestie Nicki Minaj. It's giving major fixation energy. Like, what's really going on there? And don't even get me started on Doja Cat. She's out here tossing little bits of shade that got people guessing if she's being playful or petty. Welcome back, tea lovers! You already know what time it is. This is the Tea Blog, and we've got a lot to spill today. Hope you're feeling good and ready because this one's about to get spicy. I'm doing amazing, seriously. Couldn't be better. Now let's jump straight into today's wild tea because things just got even messier. Yesterday, we talked about how one female rapper allegedly lost her cool on the SNL set, like full-on meltdown mode, throwing stuff and breaking things after someone—
This tweet after the rumors came out that apparently she went crazy at SNL because they were making a joke about Nicki Minaj, and I guess she didn't like it, and that she broke her phone and was punching the TV and shit like that. She said, all these little random stories, fuck it. Let them talk, let them eat cake, let them come to the board.
Dared to mention another rap queen's name. Can you believe that? And remember how I mentioned my theory about that TMZ article? Yeah, it's starting to look even more suspicious now. We all know TMZ and this particular rapper have a pretty tight connection, right? So it makes you wonder, was that article just perfect timing? Or was something else going on behind the scenes? I had a feeling this whole thing was a strategic move, to sneak her way back into Nicki Minaj's spotlight or at least reignite that buzz between them. It's like she wanted to stir up the old drama and get people talking about her name next to Nicki's again. We've talked about this so many times. Some female rappers know that even the tiniest interaction with Nicki Minaj can skyrocket their visibility. It's a real power move. That was my theory yesterday, but then, boom. 2 more articles dropped from outlets that usually ride for her. That's when I knew something was definitely off. Like, why would her usual supporters suddenly switch up? It had me watching closely, waiting for her next move to see if this was all part of some—
I believe every inch of this article. This is the same woman who said they're gonna go all up in Ice Spice's mouth and beat her up at every red carpet they see her. Cardi literally did all of that because Ice Spice dissed her in a song and said that she's built like an ant. She did all of that over a joke.
Clever PR game, or if the media really just decided to start airing her out on their own. Just like I predicted, her response said it all. Normally, this rapper goes off the rails the moment a story drops that rubs her the wrong way. She's known for blowing up, tagging journalists, calling out editors, and even threatening to get higher-ups involved. But this time, totally different vibe. That calm reaction told me everything I needed to know. It was giving, I knew this was coming, like she was in on it the whole time. Honestly, it felt like a planned move to stir up engagement and keep her name trending before the tour kicks off. Let's be real. She's clearly trying to spark some extra attention because those ticket sales might need a little boost. But before we dive into what she actually said, we need to look at the other articles that started popping up right after the first one, because that's where things start getting really interesting. Then another article dropped, and this one really caught my attention. It was all about the Democrats being tied to her tour ticket sales. Like, what? The headline straight up read, Democrats cash in on Cardi B's concert with 3,000 fundraiser seats. Now that's wild. It's not every day you see politics and hip-hop mixing like that. But it didn't stop there. Another piece came out too, this time from Page 6, talking about why she supposedly broke up with Stefon Diggs. And if you know Page 6, just like TMZ, they usually ride hard for her. So seeing them post something like that, super suspicious. What really makes it all stand out is that 3 separate articles about her dropped on the same day, all from media outlets that normally defend her. That timing feels way too coordinated to be random. Something behind the scenes is definitely going down. All this just makes me think the whole thing was designed to stir up buzz around her name, like a perfectly planned PR storm. Now, about the Democrats using her concert tickets for fundraising, that move had people divided. Her fans were hyped, bragging that it proves the Democrats are backing her up and showing support by buying those seats. but others weren't having it. They were like, hold on, this just proves what everyone's been saying, that politics and entertainment are all tied together. Some even claimed it shows how anyone who plays nice with the system gets rewarded. The theories were flying all over social media. So now I'm curious, what do you all think? Is it strange that the Democrats are linking themselves to her concert? Or is this just another smart business move to keep her name in the headlines? Do you think that LA show sold out so fast because of this whole situation? Maybe that's why. It was one of her early tour stops and had tons of celebrity backing. I mean, that could totally explain the quick sellout, right? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I really want to hear what you think about that. Now let me keep it real for a second. I didn't go all detective mode or anything. Scratch that whole digging part before I sound like I'm doing too much. I literally just stumbled across this on Twitter while scrolling, okay? I'm not out here playing investigator, just keeping it honest. Anyway, while I was scrolling, I came across something interesting. Apparently, she's not the first artist the Democrats have used for fundraising events. There have been other performers whose concert tickets got scooped up for political fundraisers too. So clearly, this might be part of a bigger pattern, not just a one-time thing. Now here's the real question for the Democrats. Did she donate those tickets, or did they actually buy them at full price and then flip them for their fancy fundraisers? Because that's a huge difference. If she's out here just handing over free tickets, people are definitely going to start side-eyeing and asking what's really happening behind closed doors. Something about that just doesn't sit right. But if they bought them like regular customers and decided to resell them for donations, that's another story. Still messy, but not as wild. Either way, the whole situation has folks talking nonstop. Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this because I've got thoughts. And now, let's move on to her response. The one that really convinced me she knew this whole thing was about to happen. Here's exactly what she said. She said, all these little random stories, effort, let them talk, let them eat cake, let them come to the ball. And I was like, wait, hold on. That doesn't sound like the same woman we all know. The version of her I've seen would never respond so calmly. This felt way too polished, way too composed, like something that was planned out from the jump. To me, this screams orchestrated PR move, something cooked up behind the scenes to get people talking again. It's giving, let's stir the pot but make it look effortless, you know? I can totally see this being a coordinated effort to get attention back on her, especially right when she's trying to build momentum for her projects. But here's another theory that's been living rent-free in my head. And yeah, call me a conspiracy theorist if you want. What if this whole rollout was meant to distract everyone from that article accusing Nicki Minaj of using bots? Because when that story hit, it caused serious chaos for her rivals. So maybe this was all about shifting the spotlight and changing the conversation before things got even messier. The backlash from that article hit way harder than anyone expected. They probably thought it would just fade away quietly, but nope. People started digging deep and uncovering all kinds of connections between that so-called investigative company, Roc Nation, Cardi B, and even Mike G. Once those links started circulating, things got real uncomfortable. That piece didn't just stir the pot, it dragged other media outlets into the mess too. Folks began calling out the double standards, saying, the same way TMZ protects certain artists is the same way these other outlets are doing it now. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Now it looks like some of these publications realize people are finally waking up to the games being played behind the scenes. And if there's one thing the media hates, it's when the audience starts noticing the bias and connecting the dots for themselves. It's one thing not to vibe with this woman, but pretending you don't see what's really going on? That's wild. Especially when TMZ, Page 6, and a bunch of other media outlets are clearly playing the same game. It's like they think nobody's paying attention to the patterns anymore. So yeah, I honestly believe this whole situation might have been an attempt to make it look like they're being fair. Like, see? We cover her negative stories too. They probably thought dropping pieces about what allegedly went down behind the scenes at SNL and her rumored breakup with Stefon Diggs would make them seem balanced. You see what I mean? It's giving, look at us, we're not biased, energy. But let's be real, TMZ couldn't even hide their bias if they tried. Even when they attempt to act neutral, their writing always ends up leaning toward her side. So if this was supposed to be some grand performance of balanced reporting, it definitely didn't fool anyone. You could totally see the bias showing. It wasn't even subtle. What's wild is how all this happened right after TikTok started going crazy, with people calling out how ridiculous that whole Nicki uses bots claim was. And then Cardi B herself jumped in saying, that data is very real. She uses bots. Like, seriously? That move backfired so fast. TikTok did not let that slide. People were roasting her left and right for even repeating that claim. The comments were ruthless, and folks were dragging the entire publication too, saying, come on, you can talk about Nicki all you want, but bots, that's just nonsense. It turned into a full-on online meltdown. So when I saw those new articles suddenly drop right after that chaos, it felt way too convenient. Like they were trying to shift the focus and clean up the mess that article caused. In my opinion, this timing wasn't random at all. It looked like pure damage control after everything blew up in their faces. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this madness, because now we've got to move on to the next situation. And oh, it's a juicy one. We need to talk about Doja Cat. Now listen, Doja is crazy talented, but she's
violent outburst. This time on the set of Saturday Night Live, because if you guys remember at the end of January, she was SNL's special musical guest for their 1000th.
Also known for being messy, like really messy. She was on a live stream recently, and there's no allegedly about this because it's on video. During that live, she somehow managed to accidentally leak her own email. Yep, you heard that right, her personal email. And just when you think it couldn't get any wilder, for some reason, the conversation took a left turn, and somehow drama got dragged into it out of nowhere. It's like no matter what she does, there's always some chaos waiting to sneak its way into the mix. I mean, let's be real. If you're out here calling another fanbase bots, why keep giving them so much power? It's wild how people can't stop mentioning them, even while dragging them. Like, make it make sense. If you truly think a fan base is made up of bots, why are you always inserting yourself into their convos? That's obsession at this point. Doja Cat proved this perfectly. After she accidentally leaked her email, the first people she thought of weren't her own fans, but Nicki Minaj's. She literally said something like, "Let me hide this fast before the Barbz start using it." Like what? That's such a random connection. And honestly, that's exactly why Nicki stays legendary, because people can't stop bringing her up even when the situation has nothing to do with her. These artists and their teams just keep her name in rotation without even realizing they're boosting her fame every single time. They just can't help themselves. They literally cannot keep Nicki's name out of their mouths. That's why that SNL article dropped weeks later, clearly trying to drag her into a conversation that had nothing to do with her. It's like every time something goes down, people scramble to find a way to link it back to Nicki Minaj. It's honestly wild. Tell me in the comments, why do you think Doja Cat stays tangled up in all this mess? Because lately, her career hasn't been hitting the same numbers it used to, and her moves are giving unplanned chaos instead of smart strategy. She's got talent for days, but she's too unpredictable for the female rap game right now. In this space, you've got to play it smart. And whether people like it or not, Nicki Minaj is the center of that world. If you can't figure out how to navigate around that, your career's gonna stay messy, period. Yeah, if you're gonna go against Nicki, you've got to do it loudly and proudly. That's the only way the industry will rally behind you. Because the minute you make yourself the anti-Nicki, every hater and every rival suddenly wants to back you up. But here's the catch. You can't just say you're against her, you've got to prove you've got the star power to actually challenge her. They want someone who looks like they could be the one to finally take Nicki down. That's the whole point of the strategy. But that's also where the problem comes in. Going against Nicki Minaj isn't just a move, it's a gamble. You've got to be ready for the smoke, and you've got to know how to play the sympathy card too. The industry loves a victim story, so you'll see artists trying to act like they're being bullied just to gain extra support. It's messy, it's risky, and most of the time, it ends up backfiring big time. And if you're not bold enough to go solo against Nicki, the next move is to team up with Cardi B or others in that same circle, so you can all push the illusion that together you might have a shot at taking Nicki down. That's literally the game plan for some of these artists. You can't just sit in the middle, because the minute people realize you don't have what it takes to end Nicki, they drop you fast. That support was never real, it was just conditional hype. Doja Cat, for example, doesn't have the guts to take that full-on stance. She just tosses around little hints and shady comments here and there, but never goes all in. And guess what? That half-hearted energy doesn't fly with the crowd that wants you to disrespect Nicki as loud as possible. They want drama, they want chaos, and Doja's playing it too safe. The funny thing is, the other way to win is actually the opposite. Support Nicki, show her respect, and her massive fan base will back you automatically. It's like instant credibility. Nicki's fans have serious power, and when they co-sign you, your visibility skyrockets overnight. Exactly. But here's the tricky part. If you're gonna show love to Nicki, it has to be real. You can't fake it because her fans are sharp. The Barbz can spot fake support from a mile away, and once they catch on that you're just pretending, it's over for you. They'll pull their support instantly, just like what happened with Ice Spice. She tried to play both sides, first showing love to Nicki, then switching up when it suited her, and it totally backfired. One minute she was acting like a fan, the next she was trying to ride with Nicki's rivals, and it just made her look confused and desperate. That kind of flip-flopping never works in this game. At this point, it almost feels like the only real way to win in female rap is to be Nicki Minaj, because everyone else either copies her formula, competes with her, or collapses trying to keep up. Anyway, let's move on to the next hot topic because things are about to get even messier. Let's get into Meek Mill, because wow, this one had me shaking my head. I wanted to talk about it yesterday, but we've got to unpack it now because he's out here crying on the timeline. What are y'all doing to this man? He's clearly still not over that whole bunny hopping situation with the billionaires. It's haunting him. They really did him dirty, and now he's online talking about how his image got dragged through the mud. He went on what looked like a full-blown cry for redemption, tweeting and venting like he's trying to find some peace in the middle of the chaos. And sure, it's dramatic. But do I feel bad for Meek? Absolutely not. Let's be honest. When the industry was treating him like royalty, he was soaking it all up. He didn't have a single complaint back then, and when those same people were allegedly doing shady things to Nicki Minaj and pushing her down, he was silent. Now that the tables have turned, suddenly he wants sympathy? Nah, that's not how it works. Now, of course he was loving it when they were blocking Nicki Minaj's documentary for his benefit. He didn't seem bothered back then. He was enjoying all the perks that came with his industry connections. So now that things aren't going his way, it's kind of hard to feel bad for him. Like, these are your friends, Meek. These are the same billionaire buddies you were partying with. How are people supposed to protect you from the same crowd you proudly stood beside and profited from? And let's be real. Your closest friends are known power players with messy reputations, the kind of people always wrapped up in controversy. So yeah, sympathy is running low on this one. Anyway, here's what Meek actually said. He tweeted, "They clipped me doing the bunny hops and exit as if a billionaire made me do something against my morals from a lost bet." Then he added, "That was a clip. I brought them billionaires around the culture where millions was made in the rap industry." He's basically saying the clip was taken out of context, but at this point, the damage was already done. So that's the clip, right? Okay, Meek. But what exactly are we saying here? Because the more he explains, the less it makes sense. Anyway, someone replied to him online and said, "I get what you're saying, but every real fan already saw you doing that bunny hop thing years before you even met Ruben." And Meek clapped back, saying, "They do it for your future consumers like Gen Z. They didn't grow up on it, so they wouldn't know the difference. That's how they keep influence." Wait, influence? Really, Meek? The same influence you once used while standing next to that billionaire circle? The same one you leveraged to go against Nicki Minaj? Back then, it was all jokes and bragging rights. But now that it's backfired, suddenly it's a problem? Come on. Honestly, this is the classic story of artists who align themselves with the wrong, powerful people. Meek's just another one caught in that web, signed, supported, and influenced by folks fans like to call the title swindler, or as Meek lovingly used to say, my brother billionaire. It's poetic justice at this point. People love to say we're just jealous, but that's not what this is about at all. When I say I worry for Cardi B, I mean it seriously, because once those industry elites are done with her, they're going to toss her aside the same way they did Meek. Folks laughed when I said it, but look at what's happening. Meek used to have real pull, major influence, and connections everywhere. but even he got pushed out when he stopped being useful to them. So if he could get discarded, what do you think they'll do to someone like her? Someone who's constantly dealing with lawsuits and legal drama, someone they probably already view as a liability? Once she's no longer bringing in the numbers or serving their agenda, they'll move on without a second thought. And honestly, that's the sad part. We can joke and gossip about it, but deep down, it's actually heartbreaking. That's why I can't go too hard on Cardi sometimes. I see someone who's lost, someone who might have been promised loyalty and family from people who never really cared. Maybe she thought she finally had protection and belonging, something she didn't always have growing up, or while she was fighting her way into the industry. But the truth is, in that world, once they've used you up, they'll drop you cold and pretend you never existed. It's honestly sad when you really think about it. Sure, we might joke around and say things like sympathy week, but deep down, there's something dark about how these stories unfold. Once you strip away the gossip, you start to see just how twisted the industry really is. Anyway, let's shift gears to the next topic, Rah Ali. And let me tell you, one thing that truly scares me in this world is having friends like Rah. Enemies are one thing, but a so-called friend who secretly dislikes you? That's dangerous. People like that will smile in your face while quietly waiting for a chance to tear you down. Someone sent me a clip that looked like a movie scene where Rah was supposedly trying to recreate what her friendship with Nicki Minaj was like, and when I tell you I was disgusted, I mean disgusted. It wasn't just messy, it was downright uncomfortable to watch. I don't even have the words to describe the vibe it gave off, but it definitely wasn't genuine or respectful. I was disturbed, like genuinely sick to my stomach. It made me feel nauseous just watching it. I actually wanted to throw up from how low it all felt. Falling out with a friend is one thing, but taking it to this kind of level? That's another story entirely. But then again, should we really be surprised? This is Rah we're talking about. And honestly, I've never understood why Nicki ever trusted her in the first place. The moment Rah was willing to completely flip on Remy Ma, that should have been the red flag right there. I remember hearing that Nicki and Rah were suddenly close, and it just didn't sit right with me at all. Because here's the thing, if someone can betray one friend so easily, they'll do it again without thinking twice. Loyalty isn't something you can fake, and Rah has shown time and time again that she doesn't have it. That's why I always say, you've got to pay close attention to the people around you, even the ones who call themselves your friends. Some folks only stick around until the next opportunity to stab you in the back. You know what? This is exactly the kind of topic that makes me think, yeah, a podcast needs to happen. Because even though we talk about all this as entertainment, there are real-life lessons hiding in the drama. I always tell people this. If your friend is too comfortable talking trash about their other friends to you, watch out. That's a walking red flag right there. And if you notice your friend acting shady or two-faced toward people she used to be close with, especially ones you don't even know like that, trust me, it's only a matter of time before she does the same to you. Behavior like that doesn't just stop, it's who they are. So yeah, this whole Rah Ali situation just confirms it for me. She's doing way too much, and it's honestly nasty energy to witness. Let me know in the comments what you think, because to me, it's beyond petty. It's straight up foul. Like seriously? Have some shame. Where is the self-respect? The fact that Nicki has never publicly addressed Rah makes it even worse, because it's clear she's not giving her the attention she's begging for. What more does this woman even want at this point? It's starting to look like she's desperate for a reaction, any kind of acknowledgement, just to feel relevant again. The thing is, once a friend starts acting shady in public, throwing little jabs, disrespecting you openly, and you choose to stay silent, that silence eats them alive. People like that can't stand being ignored. When you don't feed their energy, they spiral. That's when they start doing the most just to provoke a response. It's the same pattern we've seen before with messy personalities like Jason Lee. They keep going and going, obsessed with forcing a reaction that'll never come. It's actually kind of sad, because the silence exposes their desperation louder than any response ever could. It's straight-up obsession at this point. Rah Ali keeps pushing and pushing, but Nicki's still out here paying her complete dust, and that silence is driving her crazy. She already messed up big time, So now she's chasing some kind of fake vindication, hoping she'll finally feel right again the moment Nicki acknowledges her. That's all she wants. One word, one reaction, and it's honestly pathetic. It's even worse that she tried to sneak in a track that sounds eerily similar to one of Nicki's songs. Like she's trying to mimic her vibe for attention. That's not inspiration, that's desperation. But knowing Nicki Minaj, she's way too smart to ever hand over anything personal or private to someone like Rah. Nicki protects her circle and keeps her business tight. And let's be real, if Rah did have any kind of private or sacred info about Nicki, she would have already run to the internet with it by now, especially considering how messy she's been moving lately. The fact that she hasn't says everything. If Rah really had dirt on Nicki, she would have spilled every drop of that tea by now. That's exactly why I believe Nicki always kept her at arm's length.
In my personal opinion, no black woman could get away with this kind of behavior. Y'all would literally crucify them. Had an audio leaked like the one where she was threatening Ice Spice of any of the other female rap girls, Doja, Megan, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, had that been any of them in that call threatening people like that?
She never fully trusted her. You can tell Nicki wasn't comfortable enough to share anything personal or sensitive, because if Rah had any real inside info, she would have blasted it across every platform already. The fact that Rah's out here trying to recreate movie scenes that supposedly reflect their friendship just screams desperation. It shows me their bond was never as deep as she wants people to think. And let's be honest, Nicki's too sharp to miss those red flags. She must have clocked Rah's fake energy a long time ago and started keeping her distance. Because a woman like Rah clearly isn't someone you want in your circle. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And also, I've got a question for y'all about the podcast. Should we keep it focused mainly on female rap drama, or mix in more everyday topics and real-life lessons that tie into pop culture moments? I feel like blending the two could make things even more real and relatable. Let me know in the comments what you think, you guys, and tell me how often we should drop the podcast. Should it be once a week? Maybe every Saturday? I'm thinking we could do about an hour-long episode and host it on Spotify so we can really get into all the juicy topics, the drama, and the life lessons behind the headlines. I want this to feel like a real conversation where we spill the tea and keep it real at the same time. So drop your ideas down below, your thoughts, your suggestions, everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment to keep this channel growing and the tea flowing. Your feedback means everything, and I want to build this with you all. Until my next one, stay tuned, stay sipping, and I'll see you in the next video.